Hey, a common question that we get here at the Business Law Group is what are the most common loopholes in the contract? And really, the most common loophole that we see is not having a contract at all. It amazes me how many times I'm talking to somebody and they're telling me they have a problem, and I say, hey, go ahead and send that agreement over, I'll take a look at it. And they tell me, well, I don't have an agreement. We were doing it on a handshake, or we were doing it over the phone, or over the internet. And it makes it really tough for me to figure out who's in the right and who's in the wrong based on an email trail or your word. And even more, it's really tough for me to take that to a judge and say, hey, judge, you need to enforce these terms that aren't written down on paper. And in the state of Michigan, there are actually certain transactions that the court just won't uphold if they're not in writing. And it's a real low, level to get into that. We're talking like transactions of $500 or more fall into that category. And so it's really important that you get that agreement in writing, and it lays out the relationship that you're going to have with this other business or these individuals. Another common loophole is when it comes to pricing. People they oversimplify the pricing in the contract. It's I'm going to sell you my car for $5,000. Well, that's great, but is money due before the sale? Is it upon delivery? And if we're dealing with some type of a project, is there 50 now, a third then, or what? There's all kinds of ways to break it up. But if you don't have that in the contract, it's really tough to enforce those terms. And even more, what happens if they don't pay you on time at all? What happens? Do you get to stop work? Do they own the property? What's going on there? It's really important to make sure that those terms are laid out. Really, these loopholes that are created are on a failure to plan properly. You sit there and you got to think, what is the worst thing that could happen? And how are we going to handle that? Are we making a warranty that this is going to perform to a certain level? Those types of things need to be planned out and thought of and put into writing so that if they come up, you can point to the document and say, hey, right there is the way we decided to handle this, and this is the way we're going to go forward. So, hey, for more tips like this, follow us here. If you have specific questions, go ahead, get a hold of us. Visit us, www.businesslawgr.com, and we look forward to working with you.